So, it is New Year's Eve at the time of filming, which means we have reached year end, and it means all of the year-end videos are coming. So, favorite books, least favorite books, year-end wrap-ups, all of those good videos, which I do have coming. But today, I am here to show you guys my top 15 books of 2015. Hello everyone, it is Samantha. I hope you guys are having a great day and Happy New Year's. It is the first day of 2016. It is January 1st. 2015 flew by, it had its ups and its downs. It was a crazy year. So I'm definitely happy to see 2016 and to see what it brings, and I'm hoping it will be a good year for all of us. As I said in the intro, it is the time of year in which we all produce our year-end videos. I love this time of year. I like seeing people's favorite and least favorite books and their year-end wrap-ups, and I have all those videos coming out. Today is my top 15 books of 2015. I'm probably not going to do a December wrap-up because I think I read like one book, so I'm just going to kind of include that in my year-end wrap-up. But regardless of that, I hope you guys will still enjoy these videos. And now let us get into my top 15 books of 2015. So for this list, I chose books that I rated 5 stars and above, and a few 4-star books that I thought were pretty good, that I really enjoyed, but that I still rated 4 stars for various reasons. And I have also ranked them. So these are in order from my least favorite favorites to my absolute most favorite book of the new year, and I can't wait to share them with you guys, so let us get started. So in the number 15 spot, I have chosen Chew, Volume 1, Taster's Choice by John Lyman. I started the Chew series, graphic novel series, this year, and I've gotten through Volume 4, and I really liked it. Chew is such an inventive story. It follows this guy who's called a Chibopath, so he has the ability to eat things and know its entire history, where it was made, if it was food, if it was somebody that was murdered, he can taste their blood and he will know who killed them and how they died. It's a little bit gross, but it's really good, and it's funny and quirky, and I love the art style. It's just really great. And fun fact, they're coming out with a movie in 2000 and whenever, because I don't actually know the year the movie's coming out. I do know that David Tennant will be voicing one of the main characters. He's kind of a villain character, and I'm very excited about that. And I ended up rating it his first volume of Chew 5 out of 5 stars. In spot number 14, I have chosen The Mark of Athena by Rick Riordan. This is book 3 in the Heroes of Olympus series. Still need to finish the Heroes of Olympus series. I have the last book to read. It will happen in 2016, hopefully soon. But Mark of Athena so far has been my favorite in the series. I rated this one 5 out of 5 stars. I don't want to give too much away because it is in the middle of the series, but needless to say, I really enjoyed this one. I thought this one had a lot of good humor, it had a lot of good revelations, and I just really enjoyed it, and I just need to know what's going to happen, so I need to finish the series. Spot number 13, I have chosen Liriel by Garth Nix. This is the second book in the Abhorsen trilogy, and I like this one so much more than Sabriel. I rated this one 4 out of 5 stars, but I really found it so enjoyable. The main reason I didn't much care for it was because of the character of Sam. I found him to be very whiny and annoying, and he didn't add too much to the story. But I love Liriel. She was a fantastic character, and I just really enjoyed it. I just really love the story, and I was so engrossed in it, and I was really rooting for her as a character, and I like how it kind of ties into Sabriel, and I need to read Abhorsen. And I can't believe I didn't finish this trilogy this year. But again, this will happen in the new year, and I can't wait to see how it's all going to tie up. But needless to say, Liriel still took a spot number 13 on my top 15 list. Coming in at number 12 is Emily of New Moon by L.M. Montgomery, the author of the Anne of Green Gables series. I still need to read this rest of this trilogy as well. I've only read the first one, but again, I really enjoyed it. I don't like it quite as much as the Anne of Green Gables series, but Emily of New Moon is still just as good. It follows a young orphan, Emily, who after the death of her father is sent to live with her aunts, who are unmarried, and by the standards of the early 1900s were considered to be spinsters. One is definitely more kindly than the other. One is a little bit more straight-laced and conservative, and Emily basically brings out the best in everyone. And the story is really nice. It's very touching, and I just really enjoyed it. Hence, it's 4 out of 5 star rating, and its spot is number 12 on my list. Coming in at number 11 is Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb. As many of you know, if you followed my channel all year, you will know this was the year of Robin Hobb for me, as I read all of the Land of the Elderling books that are out so far, minus her like short story collections. I really love Royal Assassin. It was my favorite in the Farseer trilogy. I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. It picks up where Assassin's Apprentice leaves off, so Fitz is about, I think, when the story starts out 14, and I think it might end when he's 18. Really good. I really enjoy this one. It's definitely a heart-wrenching story. This one will definitely bring out some tears and some like frustration in you. But I think any author that can bring out such a reaction in me, which is hard to do when reading, I think is an excellent author. So I really, really enjoyed this one, and again, I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. Coming in at number 10 is The Prince of Mist by Carlos Ruiz Zafran. This was actually my very first audiobook I ever listened to, and I absolutely loved it. The audiobook was perfect, and the story was excellent. I can see why people love Carlos Ruiz Zafran. The story was amazing. I was captivated from beginning to end. It was suspenseful. It's like a YA suspense paranormal mystery novel, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. It takes place, I believe, it was either the start of World War II or start of World War I in Spain. A father moves his family to this place in Spain that's more safer than the city after the onset of the war. And it follows this young man and how he kind of discovers there might be a sinister presence involved in this small coastal town, and it was really, really good. It was super creepy, really engrossing, and I absolutely loved it and rated it 5 out of 5 stars. Coming in at number 9 is The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater, the second book in the Raven cycle. I absolutely love this series, and I cannot wait for the last book that's coming out next year. So far, Dream Thieves is my favorite. Of the Raven boys, this one focuses mostly on Ronan Lynch, who is a very intriguing character. He's more of the troubled bad boy character, but I really, really like him. And he's also the queer character in the story, and I just like that she is kind of encapsulating a whole bunch of different types of diverse characters in the series. I really, really like this one. I thought the ending was perfect, and you definitely really get to have a better insight into Ronan's character and the reasons that he is the way that he is, and I really, really enjoyed it and rated it 5 out of 5 stars. Coming in at number 8 is another graphic novel, and it is In Search of Lost Dragons by Corinne M. and Eliam Blackmore. This is it's a graphic novel, but it's really more of a fantasy art book, and I absolutely loved it. This thing is gorgeous. I will show you guys some of the pictures now because I can never not show you guys the pictures. Like, this is just an example of some of the art that is included in this book. It follows this reporter who is sent to investigate appearances of dragons throughout the world, and it takes place in our world, and it is absolutely beautiful, and it has all these pictures of these dragons as well as the notes from his travel log and different little news article excerpts and these maps and things, and this thing is just simply gorgeous. I absolutely loved it and rated it 5 out of 5 stars. Coming in at number 7 is The Rose and Thorn by Michael J. Sullivan. This is the second of his Rhaeria Chronicles prequel novels, so it's the prequel books that take place before Theft of Swords and kind of shows how Royce and Hadrian met and how they kind of started their operation. This one is the second, so they have known each other for about a year or so now, and they are basically creating Rhaeria, and they're in the middle of creating it, and it follows their first little adventures in the town of Medford, and I absolutely loved it. It was definitely probably one of his more darker stories, particularly with Royce. It was definitely a really fun read, and it made me laugh and it made me sad, and I just loved it to bits. Very magical. It has some moments in it that you were cringing and that you were just like, oh god, that did not just happen, and it was just a really, really, really fantastic book. I don't typically like prequel novels, but I have been really enjoying the Rhaeria Chronicles series, and particularly The Rose and Thorn, hence the reason why I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Coming in at number 6 is Bleak House by Charles Dickens. I read this one at the beginning of 2015, and it has become my second favorite Charles Dickens novel, usurping The Pickwick Papers. I really, really, really like this one. It is definitely dense. It definitely has a lot of interwoven plot lines, but it is fantastic. The story basically follows all of the characters involved in this John Dice and John Dice legal case. It's like this property dispute, inheritance dispute that's been going on for years, and it follows the different people who are involved in the suit and their lives and how this case has affected them, and it was just a really, really, really good book, and I can see why people consider this to be Charles Dickens' masterpiece. The way that he wove the characters and the plot lines together was impeccably done, and as per Charles Dickens' usual, there are some very quirky characters, some very evil characters, some very lovely characters, and I absolutely loved it. Plus, it has spontaneous combustion. I mean, any book that has spontaneous combustion in it, particularly from Charles Dickens, is awesome. Yes, a character died by spontaneous combustion, and it was just random and hilarious, and I don't know. It was just so fantastic, and I could not help but be like, go Charles Dickens. So again, this came in at number 6, and I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. Number 5 is going to The Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis. This book definitely has a way of making you think about your life and your actions and the reasons behind your actions. It basically follows a series of letters that were in from a head demon to his nephew who was trying to go out in the world and seduce these people to becoming evil and doing bad things. Really, really, really good book. It really makes you think about yourself and your actions, the reasons behind your actions, and how even the smallest thing that you do the smallest harmful little things that you could do to somebody can really impact them in very big and profound ways. Definitely a masterpiece by C.S. Lewis. I really, really enjoyed it and rated it 5 out of 5 stars. Coming in at number 4 is Fuzzy Nation by John Scalzi. I absolutely love this book. I don't read a lot of sci-fi. This one was definitely an excellent one to start out on. I definitely recommend this if you're starting out to read sci-fi too. It is a standalone novel and it is fantastic. It follows Jack Holloway, who is this miner trying to make his money on this other planet, when he comes across these beings that are sentient, and he has to prove that they're sentient. But the problem is that the corporation that owns this planet doesn't want them to be sentient because then they can't mine and make their money. So it follows Jack as he tries to kind of protect these creatures while also kind of protect his interests and make some money off the side. It is hilarious, a lot of fun, a really great adventure. It is a retelling of an older sci-fi novel, which is called The Fuzzies, which I also want to check out hopefully in 2016. But needless to say, I really enjoyed this one. John Scalzi has a really humorous way of telling the story that really pulls you in and makes it a joy to read. And I rated this one 5 out of 5 stars. Now we're getting into the last 3 books, my top 3 books of 2015, and taking the number 3 spot is Uprooted by Naomi Novik. This is a standalone fantasy novel. It is sort of like a fairy tale retelling, primarily based upon Beauty and the Beast, but there are some other little fairy tale elements thrown in there. I really, really, really enjoyed this one. It was a lot of fun. It follows Angeniska, who's a young girl in this village, and every so many years, a girl from this village is taken by the dragon, this sorcerer who lives in this tower, to live with him. Nobody knows what goes on there or why he needs a girl from the village, but when they come out very educated and worldly and have a lot of money, and they end up leaving because after, I think it's 10 years, maybe less, they can go off into the world on their own. Angeniska ends up getting chosen, and the story kind of takes off from there. She finds out more about this evil wood that her village is next to that the dragon protects them from, learns more about the dragon, and it is just a really fun adventure. It has some humorous moments, some like, oh, touchy moments. It is definitely has some romantic elements, and I just really, really enjoyed it. I ended up enjoying it a lot more than I thought I was going to, and I ended up rating it 4 out of 5 stars. So now we are getting to the last 2 books. These are both 5-star books, and they probably won't come as too much of a surprise. And number 2, I'm giving it To the Mad Ship by Robin Hobb, book 2 in the Live Ship Traders trilogy. Fantastic trilogy. I think this is my favorite trilogy by Robin Hobb, the Live Ship Traders one. It is amazing. If you've read the Farseer trilogy and you weren't so sure about it, just know that the story is completely different in the Live Ship Traders trilogy. Though it takes place in the same world, it has different characters in a different part of the world. The storytelling is a little bit different, and it definitely has a lot more adventure elements. It follows multiple character perspectives, including the evil pirate Captain Kennett, the Vestrit family, who is the owner of one of these live ships, and the story really takes off in this one. This is book 2, and book 2 is definitely my favorite in the trilogy. I just love all of the characters, the suspenseful moments where you don't know what's going to happen. You really feel invested in the storylines and you're rooting for them, and I just absolutely love it to bits, and I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. And finally, we are coming down to my favorite book of 2015, the number 1 spot, and it is going to dun 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 dun, Fool's Fate by Robin Hobb. I think you guys are probably not surprised it went to a Robin Hobb book, but this is my all-time favorite book by Robin Hobb. It is the 3rd book in the Tawny Man trilogy, which is the 3rd trilogy, so you're back with Fitz and the Fool, and it is basically the culmination of the other 2 trilogies and this one, and it was amazing. I laughed, I cried, I didn't want it to end, I raged internally. It really, really got some strong emotions from me, which is really hard to do, but it was fantastic. I mean, I don't think I've ever cried so much while reading a book, not even the Harry Potter books, which I did cry in book 5 and 6, and I think we all know why. I didn't even cry as much reading those as I did in this one, and that's really, really hard to do. I don't cry very often while reading, but Robin Hobb managed it with this book, and it was amazing. I absolutely loved it. I don't want to say too much because it is the 3rd trilogy, and it is the 3rd book in the 3rd trilogy, but needless to say, this is her best book. I absolutely loved it to bits and rated it 5 out of 5 stars, but would definitely give it more if I could because it was that good. Alright guys, those are my top 15 books of 2015. You'll have to let me know what one of your all-time favorite books was from 2015, and if you have any thoughts on these books, feel free to let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a happy new year. Make 2016 awesome. And until my next video, happy reading. Bye!